So it is our time, 10:30 UK time, Saturday, 11th of March. So to start with the right foot, let's have a quick prayer. Father, here we are together again, trying to learn a little bit more about mediumship. It is our time, 10:30 UK time, Saturday, 11th of March. I think there's something that I need to do. Let's have a quick prayer. Sorry for that. Shouldn't happen. But anyway, it's a good start. So, following our thoughts, be with us, Father, today and always. Let's enjoy this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was a particular prayer. I hope you understand. Anyway, so let me share with you guys the book so we can start from there.
Okay.
We have stopped last week and yeah, that was it. The item 130 is for today. The existence of a unique elementary matter is today almost universally accepted by science and confirmed by the spirits, as we have just seen. This matter gives origin to all the bodies of nature, and by the transformation it undergoes, it also produces their various properties. That is how a healthful substance can be made noxious by a simple modification. Chemistry itself has provided numerous such examples. Let me go back for the first part of it. Now, more and more, because of the findings of science, it is becoming clearer that even things that we thought that could not exist, there was nothing, like dark matter is not nothing, is something. Scientists are fighting to describe exactly what they are, what it is, but they know already that's not a vacuum in the universe. There is something in the universe. So today, science also proves that the original matter is equal to everything, every material thing. Carbon that is used for the human beings is the same carbon that is used on a tree, for example, that is used on a stone, for example. So we start to analyze, as we progress in science, that the structure of our physical elements are not different than anything else in the world. And as we progress, we will also come to the same conclusion of the universe. We cannot say yet what is the first matter that gives origin to everything. We could not measure that yet. But by conclusion of the theories that are in place today, we can come to at least to a better place to see what the spirits are saying to us for more than 200 years. And it does make sense, right? Because in nature, everything is a repetition. There is no magic. What is in the micro is also on the micro. So I think it's something that will be receiving more information in the near future, because science nowadays are progressing faster than were 200 years ago. Today, we are not thinking only with our brains, we are thinking with the assistance of computers. And a primary example is today you have in your hand a computer that's stronger than the computer that has been used to send the man on the moon. So things are progressing quite fast. Everyone knows that two harmless substances can be combined in certain portions to result in something harmful. One part of oxygen and two parts of hydrogen, both harmless by themselves, form water. But by adding only one atom of oxygen, we have a corrosive liquid. Even without altering the proportions, it is often that a simple modification in the form of the molecular aggregation is enough to change the properties, which is how an opaque object can become transparent and vice versa. Since a spirit can act so decisively upon the elementary matter by merely exercising its will, we can understand that not only can it form various substances, but it can even denature the properties by using its own will as a reactive agent. I think we all can do the same. If we know what to do, and if we have in our hands a lab full of chemical products, we can do a lot of what he's saying here. We don't need to be a spirit. And it's not magic either. It's just knowledge and experience. I have the experience, I know what to do, and I have the means to do. So in a lab, I can reproduce a lot of things that someone that never heard about it maybe think is magic, but it's not. So that's following the subject we have discussed last week about the spirits changing things, changing the matter, changing objects, right? So if you don't have anything to ask or to say, can we move on to the next one? I guess so.
Just a tiny comment.
Yeah.
That you mentioned the lab, and in our house, we do that all the time. And usually we do that in the kitchen. It's the nearest thing that we have to the lab, where we cook things, we freeze them and that kind of stuff. So the energy that we put on our meals, in some way in that lab, it is important.
Yeah, I like it. None of us know what to do in the kitchen either, but I like it. I am one of them. I'm more like calling something to deliver. But anyway, thank you, Daniel. Curative magnetic action. Before we start, a lot of people coming into the Spiritist Center trying to fix their problems from the spirit or physical problems. Every time when we are hurted or we are suffering, we look for a cure. A lot of people look for the magic wand. But the magic wand does not exist. And the spirits can help, but only ourselves can promote the changes required to the true healing. So if you want to go to a spirit center, for example, looking for your solution, the spirit center is there to help you to achieve what you're looking for. But we do not possess the power. The spirits do not possess the power to do what is down to you to do. I prefer to say that we are facilitators. We show the direction. We try to show what is best. We try to give the information so everyone can come to their own conclusion about what to do. But there is a massive part of this equation that is down to the individual. No one else. All right? So this theory provides us the solution to a problem in magnetism that has been well known but inexplicable until now. We have to remember that Kardec came right after Mesmer. Mesmer, I would recommend, if you have a chance, to read what he brought to us, because it's very, very good. And we can use at home and elsewhere. And at the time, as always, he had a lot of disagreement with the official science, if you like, because they did not want to allow him to proceed his experiences and anything else. But you have to remember that he was part of Sorbonne, the main university in France, in Paris, and everything he was proposing was very simple, not expensive, and he had the results. But as always, there are people that do not agree. So, solution, willpower. We will see that word many times. We have way more possibilities than we believe. We do not give the credit. For example, even when we are speaking to the spirits in a mediumship meeting, we don't give the credit that we can do things. In our lives, we don't give the credit that our will is very important. But this is one of the key that's very important to understand this curative magnetic process. The active agent is the magnetizer spirit, who in most cases is assisted by a discarnated spirit. I'm going step by step because I think it's very rich, that everything he brought to us here. The magnetizer, and we still can pay for them today, there's still some professionals that use that in the offices. Most of them believe they are acting by themselves. Is it possible to act only by ourselves? Yes, it's possible. We can use the power that we have, the energy that we have, the magnetism that we all have. Can it help someone? Yes, it can. But if I know that a spirit can also help me in that activity, if you like, you can achieve greater things, because he's mixing fluid. Your fluid, your incarnated fluid, and the discarnated fluid. We'll read a bit more about that in the future, but even doctors, when they are performing surgeries, even if they do not believe in the spiritual world or anything else, providing they are good people, they have the right assistance in the right time. And if they do know they have that possibility, lucky is the patient, because he'll have a better assistance. I have, guys, I see that you guys are making comments here on the chat. I beg your pardon. I won't be able to read as we go along. I would encourage you all to open your mic and speak whatever is there, okay?
Yeah, it is just people praising that someone got to connect.
Okay, cool.
Hi, Gil, it's Christine. It was me from Australia. Sorry.
Hi, Christine, how you doing?
All right, I'm on a phone, so I was having trouble connecting. Well, I've got everybody's attention. I watched a show today, and they were talking about a mirror, and it's something that they've traced back to the Aztec era, and they were saying that it was used to contact the spirit world. It was on a BBC program. I can't remember the name of the mirror now, but they said it was a way of contacting disincarnated spirits.
What do you want me to say?
Have you heard of it?
Yes, I have heard of this method and few other methods, and practice show us that we can do that without any herbs or any method or any practice like that, right? But we have to understand that people feel empowered by some procedures they are doing for centuries. And I'm not against it. This is not what we do here on the Spiritism, but I'm not against it at all. Because if that's what you feel like is your way to connect with them, so be it. I have no problem with that. But with what we do, we know that's not necessary. That's not necessary at all. And
Yeah, I guess, sorry.
yeah, go on, go on.
I was just about to say, I guess I'm going back several weeks or months where you encouraged us to look at other aspects of religion. And that's what I've been doing to I guess, to hone in on Spiritism and say, well, that's me. I've looked at these other things and I don't need any of that. This is me.
Mm-hmm. That's very positive what you're doing, Christine. And I encourage everyone to do, because when we go and seek information, doesn't matter where it's from, allow you to build up what you know, will give a better strength in your belief. And eventually you can make a parallel of what somebody else is doing in a different practice, religion, creed, or whatever we do, right? And I think it's positive. What I need to highlight to everyone is that we should not mix things, right? Regardless that I read different books, I see different lectures and things like that, I'm a Spiritist. And what I practice is in the Spiritism. Because if we mix things, we can get lost. And that I've seen over the years, people getting lost, right? And when we get lost, sometimes we decide, I'll leave that behind. I don't want to do that anymore. Because things start to be contradictory and things go one against another. So that's my take, all right? I have two hands. Oh dear, two Lizzes. Which one was the first one? Hi, Lisa.
Hi there. Yeah, one method with a mirror is called a psychomantium, and you really need to know what you're doing with that. I wouldn't recommend it because not very good spirits can come through the mirror as well. It acts as a portal. So really be careful about doing something like that.
Something came to my mind when you said that. The Amerindians, they used to smoke herbs to elevate their spirit, to connect to the spiritual world. Let's wonder if someone nowadays decide to use cocaine to do that. He or she may have an OD because you take too much, you die. So practices like that, I definitely do not recommend. I respect, but I do not recommend. Hi, Liz.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that during Kardec time, we had the talking tables, as they put, isn't it? And then we understand with the study and all the communications that came after Kardec published the books and, you know, began the Spiritist science, that things come at their time, isn't it? Those days, perhaps they could use that mirror. Today, we can't replicate that really, because we are in another time with other knowledges, and here with more understanding of magnetism, as we are trying to see now about its curative powers and so on. So it's like certain eras will bring you, like for us in our indigenous people in Brazil, they use herbs as well. Other places they use cactus, and still to this day is part of the culture to be able to connect with the spirits, their ancestors, as they say, isn't it? So it is interesting for us to see and understand, definitely. But everything comes at one point in time, and it's important then for something else to blossom, isn't it?
Mhm.
I just wanted to comment on that.
2 things from my side. We may have today the talking table somewhere, but the day that people that are practicing this method realize that you have a much effortless way to do that, they will jump into that because it's easier, right? And we are human beings, we like to do things easy as possible. So perhaps they never have received the instruction to do so. And when they see, oops, there's a better and easy way to do it, and they will jump. And another thing I want to say is magnetism, the mediumship phenomena, can be used for both good and bad practices. A medium is just a pipe, receive the information from one end, and the information leaves on the other end. It's like water. The water can be clean, the water can be very dirty, right? So if we decide to engage in the spiritual activities, we need to know that we cannot predict what type of water that is coming through the pipe. So we need to be careful. We need to know what we're doing. We need to have people that are familiar with those processes. We need to have the minimum level of study. We also need to work with our moral aspects. Moral aspects, what are you talking about? Yes. You want to have some certainty about what you're going to do. It's better that you work in your moral aspects. Otherwise, you can be vulnerable and you won't even understand that you are. All right? Hi, Osodi.
Hi, hi, Guilherme. I'll try to talk about what's happened to me and my son. He was 2 years old in São Paulo, long time ago. And in middle of night, he was fever, high, very high fever. And I didn't have any medicine home. I used wet towels, not anything happens. And so it didn't help. And I took him in the floor, in the carpet, and I sit him and said, my son, no, Mama will pray. And I put a glass of water and I prayed to Jesus, Maria, and to good spirits, to Dr. Bezerra de Menezes. And he drank. He said, Mama, it smelled medicine. I took quick and I saw color of the water. It was very, very light green. And after 50 minutes, I think, he would like to sleep. No fever, no more fever. He was sweat of, I don't know in English now. He swore. And I changed clothes and he sleep in the morning and no problem and walking very, very well. So it happened. I never can forget this wonderful thing I then good spirits help me. So
The example you are given is an example of magnetism. It's a
know.
magnetization of the
Yes.
water. Right. In that situation, I'm more inclined to say there was a magnetism from the spirits. Could they have been using your magnetism? Yes, it's a possibility. Could they have been using the magnetism from trees, from herbs around you? Is also a possibility. So, yeah, nice example. Hi, Liz.
Yeah, I wanted to bring another example as well that actually saved my husband. When he was young, he had a stroke, a very bad stroke, very bad brain bleeding. And the doctors just didn't want to do anything for him because they thought this young man is just being lazy. And then his mother pressed for the doctors to do tests and things, and then they realized he had a massive brain aneurysm in there, and they had to rush him to do an operation that they didn't know whether he was going to become a vegetable or not. So while they were waiting for this doctor to come along, this specialist doctor to come along and perform the surgery with him, on his brain, his mother brought the people from church where she used to go, and they all prayed around him, and it was gone in the following morning. So this is a great example, and he's still here walking and talking and doing all of the things, living as a normal life. So that's another example. Like people from their church, they had no idea about what to do. They used prayer, but I guess that is a lovely example of that as well, obviously with assistance, definitely.
I would like to take your example for two things. Whatever we say here, whatever methods we use here, whatever knowledge we have here, can be used anywhere. Can be used at home, can be used in our work environment, can be used in a church, can be used anywhere. We do not preach anything here like we are the salvation. Not at all. Not at all. We do exactly the opposite. We are sharing the little we were able to learn to help others. Possibly, the people from Standard Church would consider that as a miracle. We do not consider that as a miracle because we went a bit deeper, analyzing situations, analyzing exams even, and then we understand that everything that has happened is natural, not a miracle, right? We do have laws that we know, and we do have nature laws that we have no clue about it. It doesn't mean they do not exist. So if something has happened, it's because one of those laws have been used to benefit a person, right? And it happens in the Catholic or Presbyterian environment. It did happen, right? So it's not, we are not the only one with the rights to work with the spirits. The spirits work with everyone. Even if you don't believe in God, if you don't believe in spirits, but if you're good enough and if you deserve something, they will work with you, right? Another thing that I would like to bring to our attention today is that what did the doctor said about it? Because doctor is a being that is skeptical by nature, right? And how is possible that a person that had a brain aneurysm yesterday don't have one today? How is it possible without opening the brain to remove it physically? How is it possible?
Just to say a little bit more information, the scar is there. The scar is in his brain. So it happened, it wasn't an illusion or anything. Like they could mention it at the time. The scar is there in his brain
Mhm.
to this day.
So what has happened? Can our brilliant scientists explain what is happening? Because I have had examples like that. I have witnessed situations like that over the years, because a lot of people with situations that doctors said there was nothing to do, sometimes they came to us asking for help, and they're still there. So how is it possible? As you guys are very keen and give examples, I'll give only one involving a child. A child was having seizures, 10 to 20 every day. She was 2 years old-ish. She was very little at the time. She went, the family, they were quite wealthy, and they went to all the best doctors in the capitals back in Brazil. So hospitals in the levels that we can find here in UK and US, those, I know those hospitals, they are very good hospitals. And they could not find an explanation for it. And one of those doctors said that, well, I'm afraid that the way things are moving, we cannot do anything. We don't know what it is. We cannot do anything. And chances are that she may not speak properly. She'll have some limitations through her life. Somehow they appear in our center. And I have no clue what was the reason. I have no clue what to do, but we have the tools to try to help, right? Or at least to alleviate. And we also took that case to a spiritual evaluation. That team back in Brazil used to do that kind of work. And we asked the benefactors, what should we do to help the little one? And they gave the instructions what to do. Nothing invasive, nothing crazy, like just bring her to some sessions we call treatment, but it's not treatment, it's like a healing session, for the lack of better words. And in a month's time, she had to go back to São Paulo to do more exams. But this time the family went back and the kid was not having seizures anymore. And just to remind you, she used to have 10 to 20 seizures a day. And if you are a parent and you have a daughter that's 2 years old, having one seizure a day is already very bad, very bad. I know because of my family situation, it's very bad. Imagine your young one having 20 a day. The process was a long process. And later on, the doctor said, we don't know what has happened. We don't have a clue what was the problem. We don't know what you did, but what you did worked. So there's a lot of things that people will not believe, and I don't care if you believe or not, but I cannot deny, because I was part of it. As other things that I do, I cannot deny, because if I'm leaving that, and I'm very thorough in check reasons, in check if there's no other explanations, things I cannot deny. So there's a lot of things we do not know yet. It doesn't mean it does not exist. It causes a transmutation by means of magnetic fluid, which, oh dear, I don't think we're gonna finish that sentence today. Something came to my mind here as well. I encourage you all to find on the internet the Japanese scientists who perform experiments. What's his name? Masaru Emoto. The Japanese scientist, has nothing to do with religion, nothing to do with spiritism, nothing to do with any creed. He's a scientist. He made a beautiful work. I would encourage you all to see the power of words, thoughts. And when I say words and thoughts, you can understand magnetism. Okay? But I'm not going to what he did, otherwise I'll be speaking about that until the end. Right? So it causes transmutation by means of magnetic fluid, which, as we have already stated, is the substance almost nearly like cosmic matter or the universal element. Então, here we have a very important information that magnetism is the closest element we can think of if we compare with the cosmic matter, the original cosmic matter. It is a very hard subject to people to understand. So I like to use the water as the example of the universal cosmic fluid. Here on Earth, everything has water on it. Everything. Ourselves, we are talking about 80% of water, I think, or something around that. I forgot the right number. But the great majority of our physical body is water. Animals, trees, wood, everything. And water changes direction, color, smell, and its physical state. If we boil the water, it becomes vapor. If we freeze the water, it becomes hard as a stone. So if we consider water as an example for the original cosmic fluid, that will give us a better perception of what this fluid is. Because if we like or not, we are immersed in this fluid. Oh, but I'm on Earth, I'm not in the water. Yes. Where is your Earth? Well, my Earth, well, then it starts to be hard to explain already, because we have difficulty to understand what is around the Earth, talking about fluids, right? But there is something. What we thought was nothing, now the science already agreed that is something. So, beautiful topic, right? And if it can thereby cause a modification in the properties of water, it can just as easily cause a modification in the organic fluids, which will result in the healing effect of the magnetic action when properly directed. When we receive in the Spirit Center people of any sort of problem, back in Brazil is a common practice given us by the spirits to give fluidic water, magnetized water. Why? Because water is the primary vehicle they can put products to help us. If you believe or not, down to you. But we see changes when we use that as recommended. Hi, Sandra.
Oh, hi, Guilherme. So it really calls my attention when Kardec said here, properly. So I was thinking, so could be with permission of our benefactors, with the purpose, so everything, no?
Mm-hmm. To those that never had the experience talking about water and changing its properties of water, it can change color, can change taste. Today, no, but sometimes, even when you are doing something positive or using magnetism around water, you can see little bubbles inside the water, like flat water becoming a sparkling water. So there's a lot of things that people will not believe. And once again, we are not here to convince people, right? We are here just to share the little we know. All right. Hi, Osuli.
Hi, Joe. Hi again. When you said about bubbles, you know, in Umeå, in north of Sweden, when I moved to Sweden, the first city it was Umeå. There, we started to study in the coffee shop in the university, University, with friends there, and I have a good and very good friend. She had been studying chemistry. Then that time, now I much more. He's a scientist, and I remember that she said we was alone at that time. That afternoon we was alone there, and she said, "Elsoli, with the other, do you really believe that the spirit is here and very too many spirits here because there's so many chairs here?" I said, "You must believe in only a little, but 300%." I said, and when we talk, and when finished our study, it was Evangelium, and our water, we took our water to drink our water. Bubble. Hers water glass. Bubble like aspirin. And she said, "Oh, you see?" So she was very astonished. He studied chemistry, and she knows it was impossible. It happened in a way, a natural way. And I said, "So they said they talk to you now, my dear, because this is true. They are here." So I never forget this phenomenon. It not my water, but only her water bubble like a Coca-Cola, it was wonderful to see. So I would like to talk about this because I think it was it in this text. I think is good too.
Mm-hmm. Nice one. And what can I say? Before we finish today, I will tell you how to magnetize water. Right. So as we're talking about water, I will give you some tips how to do it, and everyone can do it. It's not a practice that can only happen in the spirit center or with spiritists, with the spirits. Everyone can do it. Remember that you are also spirits. Okay. So let's go a little bit more. We know the crucial role played by the will and magnetic phenomena, and in our magnetic phenomena. But how may we explain the material actions of such a subtle agent?
Yeah.
The will per se is not an entity, a substance, or even a property of highly etherealized matter. Rather, it is the essential attribute of the spirit, i.e., of the thinking being. Did the aid of this lever, the spirits, act upon the elementary matter and by a consequent action, it reacts upon the components whose inner properties can thus be transformed. The will is an attribute of both the incarnate and the errant spirit, and hence the power of the magnetizer, which we know results from the force of his or her will. The incarnate spirits can act upon the elementary matter and thereby modify the properties of things within certain limits. There's a limit for everything, huh? This explains the ability to heal by contact and the lay on of hands, a faculty which some individuals possess to a high or low degree. See chapter on the mediums, the paragraph, blah, blah, blah. And this is, I'm not going to go through that. So what time is it? 16. Okay. Before we go to the haunted places, let me speak about water then. I don't want to mix the water with the haunted things. So let me stop sharing for a moment. Oh, where is everything? Okay, it's back. So first of all, we need to understand that we are spirits. We have more limitations when we are awakened than when we are sleeping, but we are spirits. Magnetism, because we have our physical body, we also have. And a lot of people think that to magnetize water, I need to take a little bottle to the spirit center and the spirits will do there. They will only do that in the spirit center. No, it's not like that. First of all, you need to understand that you have what we call guardian angel, right? We use the figure of a guardian angel because it's easy to everyone to understand. We also have our benefactors. We also have spirits that want to help us when we are in need. And when we are in need, sometimes for ourselves, sometimes to others. So I will take, let me see the time. I cannot burn the time. I will give two examples mainly. And I can see that Pablo is giving John water already. He's preparing John for the water. Very good, very good. Hi guys, I didn't see you before. Well, first thing, I'll give an example that some people feel comfortable with, some people may not. But what these spirits do in the spirit center, they use the environment, they use the energy that is over there when people are praying or when they are doing a study or something like that to magnetize water. So they can also do that anywhere. So how can I do that at home? I normally get a bottle of water and I think about my angels, about my guardian angel. I think about the spirits, the benefactors. I think about Jesus, I think about God. And I ask for their intervention because I need to help or myself or someone like a son, like a neighbor, right? I make a quick prayer. And to people that are not familiar with prayer, prayer is not like Father that art in heaven, blah. It's not only that. I can just, Father, I need your help. Help me. That's a prayer. A prayer is a status of your heart. A prayer is the ending of what you're trying to do. If you're trying to do something positive, that's it. It is a prayer. Sometimes an action is a prayer. So I do a prayer and I ask for the spirits to do it, to help me, because I need to help someone. I would recommend people that would like to do an experience to, when you go to your bed today, get a little glass of water, get a little bottle of water, put it beside your bed, do your prayer before you go to sleep, and that's it. You can have it before you sleep, or you can have it in the morning. That's a way to do it. Because I had questions in the past, oh, I cannot go to the center and my water is about to finish. What can I do? I'll give you another tip. I have a full bottle of water, right? And I have just a little finger of water. Understanding a little bit the properties of water, if you do not believe that doing that practice through a prayer will magnetize the water with the help of spirits, just fill up your bottle again. Remember, you still have a little bit of water with a product inside. That's enough to keep you going until you can go next week or whenever you can go to the place you feel comfortable to have water magnetized. That's one way. Actually, I showed 2 ways already, right? So there's another way to do. I remember one time after sessions, a person, oh my God, I forgot my water. And she had a problem with her son. The water was for her son. Oh, what am I gonna do? I forgot my water over there. And I always had bottled water in my car because I have kids, you know, I always have water in the car, especially in the hot climate. It's always good to have water, bottled water in the car. I got a bottle of water. Remember the will. What is the will? You can direct your thoughts. You can direct your energy. If you're not familiar with, you may do not know. But if you practice, when you have the will to transfer your energy to someone, or in that case, to the water, you can even feel the energy flowing through your physical body. If you never did, chances are you think I'm crazy. And that's fine. But if you do that with practice, you will see that you can direct energy from your body to someone or to something. And that's what we do when we do healing. When we lay on hands, we are transferring our physical energy to someone or to something. And I grabbed the bottle of water. And in the car, the mom was a bit nervous about that. I said, oh, well, don't worry. You have your water anyway. Give me a few minutes. Why I did that? I'm transferring my fluids, like if I'm magnetizing only by myself, like Mesmer used to do. But of course, I ask help from my spiritual friends. Hey guys, give me a hand here. And I gave the water to her. I gave the water to her, right? So there are ways to do. And the use of water is very positive. Hydrate to start with, and is a primary vehicle to transfer whatever they may try to transfer into our organisms, into our physical body, right? And what time is it? I have 2 minutes. I will let you speak, Liz, on the end, just a minute. And I will ask you guys something. My bottle of water is closed, right? Now it's open. Which is the best way to magnetize the water? What do you think? You don't know. Okay, I'm not gonna say either. So
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Let's thinking about that. I was hoping that kind of answer. Let's thinking about what we already study here, that to transfer a product, And a spirit needs to go through walls. Our spirits need to go through some situations, and some situations he cannot do. So if the spirit is bringing an element from the spiritual world, yes, doesn't matter. And then now I ask you, what if the spirits are bringing an element from the nature? Doesn't matter? I'll let you guys dig into that question, do your homework, study, dig out information, and then we can talk about that next week. Right? So now, Liz, how is yours?
One of the things from products from nature and from the universe that we should all use is love. And as you know from Dr. Emoto, you can see the result of giving love to water. And it would be a very good idea that when we store our water, because here we have huge canisters, or any water you drink, transfer your love to that water, because when you see the result of the snowflakes, how it changes from love, or how it actually, disforms through hate, you can say, give your water love, and then you are consuming that as well.
Mm-hmm. I will mention something because I'm about to finish as well. I have 3 minutes. So water is the vehicle. It's neutral. Water is neutral. As I can transfer love to my water, I can also transfer the opposite feeling to the water. The water is neutral. What are you trying to say? You can create harm with people? No, that's not my goal here. What I'm trying to say is important. The atmosphere, the equilibrium of our homes. If my home, I have good practices, read good books, gospel at home, or if I don't believe in God or anything else, but at least my actions reflect the same as we can find in those books. Because we don't need to have religion. You don't need to believe in anything. We just need to be good. If we are good, we are full of the nice spirits around us. The atmosphere in our home is nice. Everything is nice. So it's also positive to keep in balance our environments. Because the same way I can give love to my water and my water be positive, if I'm complaining all the time, if I'm hungry all the time, if I'm a very grumpy person, I think it'll be hard to find love in that water, right? And if we are grumpy all the time, if we do things that are not very positive, we are also attracting spirits that are in the same vibration we have. I was trying to think a better word, but I think vibration will do. So I will finish my conversation here, and I see Munir, and I'm not sure if Liz was the hand before or is the same, but I'll give the word now to Liz. Did you raise your hand?
Yes, I did. You were talking about vibrations, and throughout, our study today, I've been holding my crystal. Crystals are energy, and this is my house crystal. This is my house protection crystal, but it also keeps the good energies that I give it, just like we do with water. So when you have, your favorite crystals, they can also help protect your house, and they also can help keep the energies good in your house. So it's not just water. Crystals are very, very good energy.
Yes, but I hope no one tried to swallow a crystal. Munir.
Very quickly, Guilherme, just to say that the practice of, irradiating love to the bottle of water may not change the property of the water, but will certainly change our spiritual property. That's for sure.
Very good, Monia. Very good. So, you know that when you open your mic right on the end, you may become a victim, right? Can you do a final prayer, Monia?
Yeah, sure. Let's join our thoughts, our hearts, to those of the benefactors and those in spirit who joined us in this study. Thanking God and Jesus for the inspiration, the guidance, and the work of Kardec. It was brought to us in a way, as a way of enlightening us, of giving us the opportunity of growth while here in the flesh, to make the difference, to progress, and take with us, naturally, as many of our brothers and sisters as possible. So with our hearts full of joy, full of gratitude, we ask permission of the benefactors to close the meeting today. So be it.
So be it.
Guys, just one thing. Well, because of the time constraint today, we cannot carry on. But if you do have any question in regards to the water or whatever you decide to dig out from your homework, we are more than happy to talk about it next week. All right. And I would throw another question for you. Is that okay if I put my fluidified water in the fridge? So I leave you guys now. Let's have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.